What up? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And look at you. You done stumbled upon little OTB Saints, where we bring you all the latest black and gold coverage.
Who are the Saints going to draft? Who's going to be their quarterback? What does the salary cap look like? All that information and more.
Hope you enjoy it. Like, subscribe. Marcus Maye got sped up out of town. As yesterday, the Saints release Marcus Maye. So in 2 years, plays what, like 17 games with the Saints. Kind of hurt a lot of times. Remember,
missed the last six
now,
of last year.
I'm trying to get my timeline straight here. You let Marcus Maye, you let Von Bell go, or you let Marcus Williams go, who was, had the Minnesota Miracle gaffe, but outside of that was actually awesome.
Yeah.
You thought you could go replace him. You go and get Marcus Maye, and it just never really came about. It was too much money. So they saved some money on the cap here, and it represents an opportunity guy for a guy that I think you're pretty high on in Jordan Howden.
Yeah, Jordan Howden, 5th-round pick out of Minnesota last year. He played much better than Maye did, and Maye came with a hefty price tag. And this is somebody, he only played in 17 games. He missed the final 6 games of the 2023 season. He was suspended for the first 3 games of the 23 season after violating the NFL's substance abuse policy. Let's also not forget he got arrested on September the 1st of 22 on a charge of aggravated assault with a firearm after a alleged road rage incident in Metairie. So it was not a great tenure there for Marcus Maye in New Orleans. At the time, I thought they overpaid for him just for the on-the-field portion of it. His best year before he signed that deal wasn't the year before. It was 2 years before he signed with the Saints. It was too much money at the time. They were trying to find somebody like a Marcus Williams. He ain't Marcus Williams.
Yeah.
And so, they
didn't want to pay Marcus Williams, but they were like, maybe we pay a little bit, we can get close to it.
And because Tyron's actually worked out really well.
Yeah.
Tyron's been a really good player, and you feel like you got some value from Tyrann Mathieu' contract, and Marcus Maye's been the complete opposite. And so now, hopefully, Jordan Howden can be that guy, because then you'll have a starter on a 5th-round salary, and you can spend that money however the Saints figure out to get under the cap. We've had that conversation.
They just restructured Cam Jordan, so the process is ongoing. I think they have to bring back Jameis Winston, against all odds. The cap almost dictates they need to avoid, because I think he's on the books for $10 million. I don't think you get that number down. I don't think you're going to bring back Michael Thomas. I think that's probably obvious.
You never know with the Saints.
You never know.
You really don't. But they have taken Derek Carr's back more than any player I've ever seen. So maybe so. Can't talk bad about Derek Carr.
You can about the coach though. Remember the Saints yesterday, Dennis Allen ranking 29th out of 32 teams, maybe it was 28th, in terms of player belief in the coach, in terms of him being the right guy, being efficient with their time and whatnot. So these are the offseason moves that we kind of always knew were going to happen. And for Marcus Maye, I don't know, man. It's kind of okay, I wish I had something profound to say here. But if you wanted to talk about some of the problems with how the Saints manage the cap, and granted, a lot of this does trace back to 2020 when the cap went down, and if that never happened, who knows what happens? I think because the cap went down that 1 year, you end up losing Trey Hendrickson, you end up losing Marcus Williams. These are 2 draft picks that were elite players that in a perfect world you could have kept, and you would have been set up at those positions for years, and now you're chasing them, You're still chasing that ghost. You tried it with Maye, didn't work out. You've tried to chase pass rush in multiple different ways, and Carl Granderson's gotten the closest, and he's solid, but he can't hold Trey Hendrickson's jock. So it's disappointing from that perspective, that you could argue that some of the Saints' financial strategies are what led you to paths like Marcus Maye, and it just hasn't worked out at all.
He signed a 3-year, $22.5 million contract. He got $6 million in a signing bonus. His average salary was $7.5 million. Guaranteed at signing, $14.5 million. And he had 97 tackles in his New Orleans Saints career. That's total tackles. And he had 2 interceptions.
That is
17 games total. And he made, at signing, $14.5 million.
Millie a game, dude. Shout out Mark. Hey, look, I ain't hating on it to get it.
Oh, I do.
Here's the bottom 5 coaches in the NFL according to their players. Kevin Stefanski ended up on this list, which I was like, man, the Browns seemed like they kind of rallied last year. You know, they had a lot of nonsense, but he comes in at 28. Then you got Dennis Allen at 29. Arthur Smith was 30. Of course, he got fired. Ron Rivera was 31. Of course, he got fired. And Josh McDaniel was the only coach to achieve a D. Remember, Dennis Allen and Stefanski got B minuses. So even though people did not like them, their players didn't like them, they're still grading. Like, they still tend to respect the head coach enough to grade them a bit higher. Dude, this locker room hated Josh McDaniel.
Yeah.
And it makes me realize that story, that absurd story about him calling Antonio Pierce to the side and saying, never talk about the Patriots that way, is absolutely true. By the way, the top 5 coaches, Andy Reid, A+, Kevin O'Connell, A+, Dan Campbell, A+, Sean McVay, A, Mike Tomlin, A. So, you are the company you keep. That's so funny. McDaniel gone, Rivera gone, Smith gone, Allen good. Go. Wow, just amazing black and gold takes right there, Jake.
I don't think I've ever heard any takes that are better than the two guys that just gave you that take.
And you can keep getting them by going ahead and liking, subscribing, ringing the bell to get notifications when we post. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next OTB Saints.